internship program, I must say, is growing and quite useful. It has graduated quite a significant number since 2008 of people, and most of the graduates have moved on to other organizations and are doing very well. The reports we get from other organizations have been very positive. We've had some very outstanding interns who are doing very good work.
I think WACSI is the first professional institution that I joined. So I pick a lot of things, just like a child will pick a lot of things from the house. I pick a lot of things from there, and it helped me to get to where I am. I certainly would be grateful, forever grateful to WACSI for that opportunity. My designation as an intern at WACSI was rather accidental. There was an advertisement for, I think, the position of a research officer or so. Yeah, and all along I thought that I could do research. So it got me interested. I found it very interesting, so I applied. But in the interview, I remember that the chair of the panel remarking that, look, you exhibit great sense of cognitive capacity or something like that. I've forgotten about the exact words she used. However, we do not think that you have the experience. Of course, there was a case that I had just come out of university. And interestingly, I think she was right. So it was rather accidental. I didn't get what I wanted. I was offered an opportunity to fill the gap in terms of my own capacity, and I took that opportunity, and I do not think that I regret that. At my current workplace, colleagues know that I'm critical about write-ups, and this is something that I picked from WACSI in terms of how to write to communicate. Of course, I had some rudimentary skills in writing, but within that short time, I built on that, if you like, talent, so much that I am very comfortable in the little things that I write. So, yes, you are right. That is the technical side in terms of writing, because WACSI had its own standard of writing. So if you wrote something that did not meet that organizational standard, so if you were not doing that, you always challenge yourself to meet the standard, if not exceed it. So that's one. And team building. I think that between myself and my immediate supervisor, Charles, we used to gel quite a lot, debate over issues. One had to defend a position, but of course the lesson was that once you realize that you have a weaker position, you would certainly go for the bigger one. And for me, it tells you how I have learned in terms of how you open yourself up for criticism, how you open yourself up for the adoption of new ideas, using them to build on your own ideas and those things. So in terms of team building effort, I learned that. From there, and I have taken a whole lot of lessons, and I'm applying them in my current position. But I think that one positive thing that I took is brainstorming session. When there's going to be an activity where everybody, in terms of the planning, you brainstorm and say, okay, we can't fail on this, we can't fail on this. Then the division of labor, so that there's clarity in terms of each, the contribution of each member of the team. So that's something that I picked from WACSI, and I try to have it here. And but before we do everything, I'm clearing my mind as to who does what, so that there is a greater degree of accountability, even within the team. We can then complement each other's effort where we see that one is not pulling his or her weight. So this is something that I have been practicing here. I must say that elements of it were already in place here, but I'm trying to build on that.
And one can say that you've had a very speedy career growth, given that you were an intern in the later part of 2008,
Yeah.
and this is just 2012. You are country director of Send Ghana here in Ghana.
Yeah.
How has WACSI contributed to that, say, positive?
I think
move?
that WACSI challenged me to aspire to certain standard. So, I mean, the reference I made to the WACSI standard, I always wanted to get to at least close to perfection. I'm not a perfectionist, but the experience I learned from WACSI was to always strive to get something that is close to perfect. And that has guided me in whatever that I have been doing here. I had to take up a whole unit that was in a mess. And this was very important to the work of my organization. But then I came in and had to take up the challenge, virtually with or without no direction, very little or no direction. So, but then I was always having at the back of my mind the approach that I learned from WACSI. So even where people were not in the department, I was still, find out from them how things were done, what they think my proposals are, just to get them to critique my approach before I even go ahead to implement them. So that in itself helped me to meet up the expectation. The learning to work hard. At WACSI, we used to work and close late, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., depending on the issue at stake. So I carried out here, and I was always working and working at the night. Though I must say that I would not advise anybody to overworking on herself, because stress can also affect your productivity. But as young as we are, this is the time that we can work hard. As you grow up, as we age, you reduce the level of time that you spent on the job. So I took those things from WACSI, so that if I wanted to achieve something, I had to put in all effort, dedicate myself, and stay committed to the cause of duty. And I think that probably management saw that. So when I applied to work as a director of programs, having competed with over 200 or so applicants with and without the organization, I got lucky to be selected. Then the position of the accounting director also became vacant. I took up the challenge. I think that one thing that I learned at WACSI was to always take up the challenge. Because as an intern, this was an experienced researcher who had done the work on the economic partnership agreement. At that time, I did not even know the theoretical basis. I just had learned about it only through radio discussion. Those things are not well informed. So I asked myself, what could I do which would be different from a professional researcher who has taken money to do this job, but the output has not been found to be satisfactory? What could I do? So it was a big challenge that I had to work hard, read extensively, think outside the box to come out with new things that will make it worth reading. So I learned those things from there. Because let me tell you what, I can say WACSI is the first professional institution that I joined. I certainly would be forever grateful to WACSI for that opportunity.
The internship was created as a youth leadership platform, to provide a platform for young graduates to hone their skills, to get the opportunities, to get leadership and managerial skills, and to get the opportunity to engage in the development sector. And we've had tremendous amount of responses to our calls for interns. At this point, looking at the feedback we've got from former interns and the current interns, we have committed to strengthening that program, to ensuring that the program even responds even better for young graduates. I believe that the internship will create a pool of leaders, civil society leaders, the development leaders that can really affect and change things in their various communities.